So Amazon PPC, love talking about it. Great, let's do it. So there's a ton of companies out there that do it. Obviously, we're one of them, but there's also a ton of, there's agencies, there's software that claim to automate it. There's, everything under the sun when it comes to Amazon PPC. So what is it about AsteroidX that's different than everyone else?
Yeah, so I mean, one thing is that this is all that we do. So we're just laser focused on this one problem. I've been helping Amazon sellers for the last 5 years myself, and I started when ranking and reviews were a certain way in the 2014, 2015.
When it was easy.
Right, and yeah, so that was the way to help sellers back then, and going into 2018 to 2020-ish, obviously, sellers still need their ranking and reviews. So I turned to ads and the ad platform to fill that need. So really, I started by thinking about what would help sellers and then work backwards from there. Yeah, and so we've just chosen to just get laser focused on this problem because I feel like the ad platform is still so young that there's a lot to be learned, and yet cost per click is still quite low. So, if we're sort of where Google and Facebook were, a few years ago, 3, 4, 5 years, then, we want to master the platform now and just sort of help who we can in that regard.
Nice. So you mentioned you guys are new, basically 11 months old.
Yeah.
Birthday's coming up. Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you.
But it's definitely been an interesting time for you guys to join in. I would say in the past 6 months, there's been more features and new stuff coming out with Amazon PPC than I think ever happened in my years of dealing with it. So how have you guys, how have you guys handled pivoting every time, they release the additional bidding with auto campaigns, or, now I saw there's new metrics that they just got us like a month or two ago or something like that. Someone showed me here, with everything that's been coming out of product targeting and all that, how are you guys kind of dealing with that?
Well, yeah, so we're building out an ads team. So these are just, there are certain parts that software can do really well, but we like to put humans in places where humans are still best. So constantly adapting to the software updates and the changes and the targeting options and the bidding strategies. We stay pretty human in that regard. We do use a lot of software, obviously, but we're sort of like bionic in that it's software and human expertise. I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing. In terms of keeping up with the Kardashians on all the ad stuff, we test and try. So we are fortunate to have a pretty good range of customers that we work with in terms of size and in terms of market, so different categories and stuff. So we get to see how product targeting works really well in some instances, where you can appear in sponsored placements on other sellers' listings, and it doesn't work well in other instances. Autos sometimes work great, sometimes not so much. Sponsored brands, same thing. So it's very iterative. But you're right though, lots of changes.
Yeah, past almost 6 months now. It's been almost once a month something new has come out.
Yeah.
Let alone the new interface that they have coming out now that they've beta tested on a few. But the thing I've started to learn a lot lately is I feel like there's a lot of sellers out there who still haven't realized that PPC doesn't necessarily work for everyone. If you're building a brand specifically on Amazon, yeah, you're going to get your branded keywords, but your product targeting is probably going to be the most beneficial thing for you because, if you're selling, how many friggin' iPhone cases have I dealt with over the years of different, so many people coming in claiming to have this great iPhone accessory and be like, oh, just get us to rank for, iPhone X case. Be like, that's not going to happen. So the product targeting side of things, I think that really opened up a lot for people who are trying to build a brand now because you can kind of force your product in front of people. But it's still interesting to me the amount of sellers who think that they can just go onto Amazon like they could back when you started, and it's as easy as it used to be, because it's definitely not as easy as it once was.
Well, yeah, sellers are having to market, right, in a more traditional way. There's no hack, there's no workaround. Yeah, yeah. Who knew, right? So yeah, I mean, it's yeah, and I guess for people who don't know, if you're new or you're just hopping on, the product targeting that Andrew and I are talking about is if you export like one of those search term reports that tells you what you got clicks for and what you got sales for in Seller Central, you can actually see, it'll give you the ASIN codes of products that where you're recommended by Amazon, and you can actually now actively go after those ASINs, so appear on those listings and use that as targeting. It used to be that you could only target by keywords.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, in case people don't know, because it's all new.
And you can go by brand name, you can go by category. I think that's it. Well, and then of course you can search for other ASINs and things that are similar. I know that, every strategy is a little bit different. I know that everyone's kind of got their own way of, doing the same thing, but I know that product targeting specifically, you can get as granular as like having an ad group specifically for, exact competitors, or you can have like complementary products, or you can have like exploratory, like screw it, I'm going to try anyway kind of products. Like nutrition is always one where they're like, you know what? Let's just get in front of every bicycle. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to burn money that way. But it's, there's a lot of different ways you can handle it. Product targeting is really interesting. I've found, I don't really have anyone that we work with right now that's like doing okay with product targeting. They're either doing really well and it was like a godsend that this thing was released, or they're doing awful and they should not be running product targeting ads. So it's really interesting, like, to see like how big of a difference they've affected.
Yeah. That's fair enough. And if you're a seller, you kind of just have to try this stuff because it's product specific a lot of the time, and it's market specific. So just got to test it a little bit, buy some data, run some ads, buy some data.
So do you automate any aspect of your PPC with AsteroidX?
We're starting to work with developers here in the city to become that bionic force, because there's still a lot of like subjective judgment calls. Like you need to look at a listing and understand it, and then understand where to feature it keyword wise. Those are still they can be data driven, but those decisions are best made by data, and then with human oversight on top. And the stuff that we're starting to automate is more around sort of like cleaning up data and automating processes. So like getting better visibility on which ASINs are already doing well, visibility on bid adjustments. Just there's a lot of numbers to ads. So we're starting with that, and then maybe eventually we'll move towards the human judgment side. But that's going to be the hardest to get some software on.
And we've, I've done these live videos with Ecommerce before. I did it with PPC Entourage. I've done it with Sellix. I've done it with Seller Labs. Like pretty much all of the automation software. And I love doing those, because I'm always like, I really don't think it works. And they always like get really defensive about it. And like, I attempt to try to be as honest as possible when we're doing these things, but there's a level of every business is different. Every product line is different. Every approach has to be different based on the product line and the business. And, you can't optimize an iPhone case like you could optimize a water filter that fits an exact model. Like there's two very different things that you have to do there. And I found the automation is really great for certain types of sellers, but definitely not everybody.
Yeah. That's fair enough, right? It's just that the tech hasn't progressed far enough to encompass all use cases. But for a general set of use cases works pretty well, or covers the bases, right? At least.
So what who's the ideal AsteroidX client? What do you guys kind of go for? Is it just really any kind of Amazon seller, or do you guys have like a particular market you prefer to work with?
I look at this roughly in terms of like a 10 and 10. So like over 10 products and over 10,000 in monthly revenue usually helps just because you have more to work with, right? If there's, and there's more data historically about what's worked, even organically, so that you can run ads informed by organic sales data. Plus, if you only have one product, it's a hit or a miss, but sometimes, you do need a bit of a portfolio most of the time to have predictable success. So a number of products and sales are those two levers that we like to look at when determining if someone's a good fit.
How do you guys handle product launches? It's always my favorite question.
So, we like to sync it up. So if something's coming on Amazon, coming online for the very first time, we do like to serve it in ads pretty early. We may take an ACOS hit because it has no reviews, presumably, or it's just starting to get reviews. But we do like to get fairly aggressive with the sales going into it, just in the spirit that maybe products have this honeymoon period where Amazon is more amenable to serving them more generous placements to sort of test the waters and see if this product is going to be a hit or not. And during that honeymoon period, we want to ramp up your sales if we can. But it's only one element of a launch strategy. But as I said, we don't do full launches. So we take care of the PPC aspect of a launch, basically.
Yeah. Nice. I love to keep these super short and sweet so that, you don't come across this on Instagram and watch it for 4 hours, but, really appreciate you joining me. Love talking to you. Obviously Amazon PPC, fun one to talk about. I would love, if you want to give some closing remarks, let everybody know where they can find more information about you guys.
Thanks. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Andrew, for having me on. This is actually our Instagram debut. So we've never used Instagram before. We're
welcome.
Thanks, man. It's been good. So this is a historic moment. We're really pleased to be chatting with you guys about ads. It's always fun. The site is AsteroidX.me. Is the website there, and again, it's certainly not for everybody. We do look and decide if it's a good fit down the line. Always worth opening up a conversation, I guess.
Nice, appreciate it. For everyone who is watching or going to watch this or later on, because we usually pull this thing off Instagram, throw it on YouTube and our blog and all that fun stuff. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out, or you can comment on whatever you're watching this on. And then side note, selfish plug here, April 4th, I decided to do an internal Amazon PPC workshop happy hour. So we're going to do a webinar style, but while we drink, and we're going to do do it over Amazon PPC. So feel free to join in if you guys watch it. You can register on our site too. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I will either make sure to get to them or I'll send them over to AsteroidX too, and Pat can help you guys out. But Pat, really appreciate it. Thanks for doing this with me, and have your buddy stop by our booth when he's at Prosper next week.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks
a lot, Andrew.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, see ya.